All right, I wonder if EG want to go with global comp then and incorporate, you know, Galio, Twisted Fate, try and get some of these cross-map movements. Camille is available right now. I'm not sure if Niles wants to play the Jax into it. With Golden Guardians banning Renekton on blue side, that's a possibility. Camilio is one of the best combinations in the game right now. Svenskeren is a long-time Legacy Graves player, so that will be an easy pickup for him. He obviously does not want to go into the Nidalee side of it without impact on Renekton on top side for the guaranteed stun. Gragas much more viable here because it's a very easy flex pick for them.
Yep, basically reversing their roles, right? You know, AP for Sven last game, AD for impact on Renekton. Now he's going to be the AP threat most likely on the Gragas here, although he can go tank. We've seen lots of different Gragas builds and even different positions for the champion to play. I think it's one of the reasons he is so powerful. Lillia, though, for Iconic, continuing to play, you know, your damage-heavy carry-esque junglers, although we have seen a lot of Moonstone from Nidalee and, of course, Lillia as well, so that's an option if Golden Guardians want to build that sort of comp. And then I think Twisted Fate makes sense. It's a favorite of AblazeOlive here, and again, without knowing you want to play Camille, which is tough on the blue side to just pick it likely blind or potentially blind, they'll take the Twist of Fate, which is similar kind of thing with the global pressure, but maybe a little bit easier to build other comps around.
Well, guess what? If you show AP Jungler and Twisted Fate mid, that is definitely going to be an AD carry or an attack damage carry, not an AD carry champion, marksman for Niles on the top side. You know, Camille is definitely an option. He could do something like a Jayce as well, as he's already got games on that. So it's definitely going to give you more options for top side carries here for attack damage threats for Niles. Meanwhile, Stixxay on the Kaisa bottom is always a great place to go with the Twisted Fate. And it's going to force Deftly to probably take cleanse, be a bit more defensive here. Jhin is always a great pick in my eyes versus an enemy mid lane TF because he does, you know, have more CC in his kit, is able to play a little bit safer when needed.
Yep, looks like Camille Gangplank, so neither of those AD threats for Niles in the top lane will be allowed into this game. And Alistar plus one more to come here for the Golden Guardian, so denying some picks off of Ignar. I think Alistar, especially if you're not going to be able to get it for yourselves, very much worth keeping away from Ignar, who alongside Impact played a huge part in how successful the team fighting was for EG in a game that was close through a lot of the mid game. So Syndra going to be the other ban. AblazeOlive's life going to be made a bit easier by taking that champion away from Jiizuke. And I don't think Aphelios will happen, but you never know. There could always be an Aphelios spring out.
They're taunting Stixxay here. See if he's going to want to grab it up. Regardless, for EG, it is going to be save ban for Impact for full counter pick on red side last. I think for sure, even if it's not Ryze, they should lock in Jiizuke as champion here. Even if it is Ryze, this is one of his more comfortable champions, despite not a lot of other mid laners playing the Ryze right now. Is very good for side lanes. Can have those good Ryze ultimates for collapsing as well. And I think him with a Gragas, very, very flexible options here for Evil Geniuses. And they don't have to show yet. It still could be Impact taking into the top side, but they can easily put it support and try and counterpick Niles here, who's looking at like maybe an Aatrox is a pretty safe blind in this scenario. There's with the Gangplank and Camille bans, both pretty good bans. I mentioned the Jayce earlier. That one doesn't have quite as much kind of backup plans as the Aatrox, but does have a lot more offensive capability.
Yep, again, Niles wants a carry. We'll be given one here on the Jayce. This is kind of alongside Gangplank, one of his most recognized champions in his collegiate/amateur days. It's not the Niles special, a Seraphine going to be locked in here for EG, which is always nice to see. And that is going to confirm Gragas to the top side of the map, and Ignar is going to take the Seraphine this time.
And Seraphine right now is really powerful because of the extra range. That combined with Jhin has some very, very devastating poke. That's why a lot of teams are saving Gragas from this flex position to threaten either counterpicking topside or counterpicking support, both of which can be really, really big depending on your game plan. And when you see something like a Rakan locked in with a Kaisa, that's pretty short range on their side that you can try and abuse. Considering you also have the Graves side of this matchup, definitely expect EG to put a lot of attention towards that area.
Yeah, 2v2 could be rough goings this time around for Golden Guardians. You did have a good-looking early game in their game number 1 here. I do like Rakan. I think a champion that every time I see him, he's overperforming in a lot of skirmishes and team fights, but not necessarily the strongest laner. Certainly nothing near the power of, say, Seraphine, who also has good backup as far as engage and CC goes. So cool to see Seraphine getting more play. I think Freak echoed this weekend that's a champion he believes maybe more people should be playing, and it does seem like it's cottoning on, which makes sense. So Ignar, not his traditional like big bruisery like battle support, but certainly one that can find some good angles and engages, and that's all Ignar really will need to do here.
And they can both snare off of each other's abilities. My favorite combination is still the MF Seraphine as the #1 go-to, but Jhin and Seraphine can also set each other up. It's just a little bit more difficult, one of them tagging for the other one to land that snare. But either way, you're setting them up for jungle ganks, you're setting them up for Ryze roams, and that's definitely going to be a look here. Keeping track of those teleports from the top side is going to be big. Can Niles on this Jayce exert enough pressure to try and whittle him down, earn some of these cooldowns for free?
All right, we'll find out, because you have to expect that one of the things about picking Jayce is that you don't just pick Jayce and kind of like leave. You have to pick Jayce and then help your Jayce, especially when the lanes get into pushed up positions. But EG, don't worry about the laning phase, because they're going to start the game well before that. 5 people rushing to the bottom side of the map, going to hide in this brush. Stixxay already in his first brush here, but does have to beware of the potential play. Yep, there it is, right in there. And it's going to force a flash, actually.
Yeah, and the reason that both teams are sending multiple people towards bottom side a lot of the time is when you see a Seraphine for the bottom side. Because, again, the range is so long on her snare, you can just throw it out from the brush, try and fish there to see if you can get something for free. And they do. Free flash off of Stixxay, off the Kaisa on bottom side. Guess what? We're talking about, hey, game plan from Champion Select. Looks like bottom side here. Now that there's no flash on the Kaisa, it's for sure bottom side, Pastry. What better way to start it out for EG than blowing Stixxay's flash there? So we'll see if they're able to change the course here. Bottom side start for Iconic on Lillia is probably going to just be a full clear. No invade for the Lillia, no shenanigans trying to take away any camps. So honestly expect it to be pretty quiet from him, and Golden Guardians overall just trying to buy some time here for Stixxay to get his flash back to be a little bit safer. We'll see if this ends up costing them any CS on the bottom side, giving a lot of ground already, them both pulling for Iconic and then going to lane a little bit late so that they are on their own side of the tower. This does make it easier for poke compositions though, Pastry, or poke lanes I should say, with a Jhin Seraphine. You generally want to push them under the tower and then throw your poke as they're trying to scramble for CS, and alas, laugh as they miss.
Oh, Jiizuke just already taking control of that mid lane there. Level 2 nice and early. First root will miss, like a second technically from Ignar that he's thrown, but no, not going to connect there. First one slow, second one roots. You double cast it there with your passive, but no dice. It's Iconic once again. This always looks funny. Level 3, level 2. Actually going to get a flash, which is a great deal, but this is mostly just to get to the other side faster. Might as well go through mid lane, because it's just the most efficient path.
Why did the Lillia cross mid lane, PastryTime? Yeah, it's kind of to gank, but it's mostly to just continue on your jungle pathing. And my goodness, the value here. You get to the other side. You can try and get to the opponent chickens if they haven't taken them yet. But that is just so high value. We've seen a lot of junglers start to do this. That was actually one of the parts in the Udyr power dragon clear I was talking about. Where you start the Raptors, then will traverse all the way back around, and you cross mid lane to do it. Comes up a little short there for newbie, though.
Lovely attempt, though. Have to be, trading back somewhat in this matchup. Can't just let Deftly and Ignar push you in the whole time and poke you under the tower. That's not going to end well for you at all. And Stixxay is doing a nice job of keeping pretty close in CS, though he's down about a wave right now. Niles, though, as expected, is pushing in impact with a good body slam, right as we say it. Although Niles does trade back in, and already level 4, up about a wave himself. And so far, no jungler has come to the top lane, which is great news for Jayce. Here's Svenskeren into the mid lane. Jiizuke comboing it up. AblazeOlive forced to flash away, and here's the Lillia once again, but Iconic in a 2v1 right now. Just going to spin the stuff around and walk away.
Yeah, good thing about Lillia, just get your extra move speed from your passive off hitting your 2 spells there, so you don't have to overcommit to that harassment attempt on Jiizuke. He really would have loved to be there 2 seconds earlier. They could have turned that around. Try and punish the flashless Jiizuke from the earlier flash blown on his mid lane pass. But not going to be the case for them. AblazeOlive teleporting right back out, even though Jiizuke is getting a lot of help here from Svenskeren to just push it in. They know no flash on this Ryze, no teleport. He needs coverage. This is a big thing that we've seen over the last couple of days in the lock-in tournament, needing to cover and help those mid laners push that last wave in so they can get their reset off when they don't have flashes, when they are very vulnerable to opponents. So Svenskeren doing his part there as a jungler, helps him get right back in, even helped him get the extra flash back on the outside.
Svenskeren looks like also going to meet AblazeOlive once again here as Iconic is busy clearing the Krogs. AblazeOlive actually roaming out of his lane, I think to ward, maybe actually to go bottom lane, but isn't level 6 just yet, so would have to walk the whole way. Instead, Iconic's just going to go ahead and clear out that ward as Niles TP's back very aggressively here. Tiered Dorans and Corrupting Pot, so it's the full starter item build here for Niles, who wants to keep up this pressure. Up already 10 CS, and Impact's out of mana, so Impact likely going to have to TP back and match here.
Yeah, definitely advisable to do so because, again, Niles is going to keep on building up these big waves to look for it. And once Lillia does get level 6 with your sleep, it's really easy to go for those dives, then hit the sleep, then reset tower aggro and go back in for the execution. Makes you way more vulnerable, even on things like Gragas that have a lot of kind of defensive capabilities within the toolkit. I will say one of the biggest pushes for me, though, is still over this mid lane. There are no kills in this game yet, but there is a hotly contested fight over mid-wave push. Twisted Fate now level 6, Ryze level 6, both want to be able to roam using their ultimates, and bottom side might be the site of that roam.
Yep, actually going to go straight there. AblazeOlive lines it up, and that's first blood for Stixxay. Very well executed by Golden Guardians.
Ding, ding, ding. Guess what? Those level 6 timers from mid lane are very important and should be communicated. Golden Guardians first to make use of it here. Even though Jiizuke pushed in the wave, nice move over by AblazeOlive. You love to see that. Players willing to make small sacrifices in order to make plays for their team. You see him, he actually caught the entire wave at his tower. So they had vision of him. They had vision of him clearing that wave, then heading over, hovering to the bottom side, and it's just a great setup here from newbie. Locks it in. AblazeOlive is loving it. That was a very efficient Twisted Fate first ultimate. Gets right down, gets the kill, instant reset, and he's right back out there. So bottom side was the target all along, and yet it is Golden Guardians who draw first blood.
Yep, I actually thought that we were going to see some action on the top side of the map, because again, Jayce's big tests come when other people enter your lane, not the enemy top laner generally. But it was the bottom side where the action happened. Svenskeren at least rotates down a little late, but enough to get the dragon, which is nice here for EG. They'll be the first ones to claim Drake in this particular game. And Impact doing just fine here. Again, has the Comet, been trading pretty nicely here. Is of course, like, doesn't want to fight the Jayce straight up generally. Jayce tends to dictate a lot of engagements in the laning phase, but Impact's just fine on CS, keeping up nicely. I would call this even as he scoops these up. So far so good here as Impact's going to play weak side this game, which is one of the things that's so great about Impact. He's very flexible, not just in champions, but also in style, depending on what the team and the comps demand of him.
Yeah, Gragas passive regeneration, being able to proc that over and over, plus the amount of AoE in the kit makes it really easy to deal with minion waves. That's why we always talk about him being a really good blind pick, you know, can flex to multiple roles and doesn't have a lot of terrible matchups for the top side. Or actually, he doesn't have any terrible matchups for the top side. Actually zero. Svenskeren here will continue to clear up towards this Rift Herald. That's my next inkling. We do have a possibility of trying to hard shove on bottom side and send up the support. They probably on the Golden Guardian side want to wait for a few more seconds for AblazeOlive's ult to come back up, but Svenskeren will slip in unannounced. I love these sneaky moves as a jungler when you're on champions that can dash over, because Rift Scuttler often gives your opponents a false sense of security, and it looks like he will go unseen unless Iconic heads straight there with a bowling ball.
Yeah, Iconic's busy actually leashing the blue for AblazeOlive, unfortunately, so it will be Svenskeren that collects it. Now Iconic sees what's up. Gonna look to try and get the E down for maybe a possible sleep, but instead Svenskeren gets out the same way he got in by dashing back over the back of the Baron pit.
And here's where you want to try and use your Rift Herald after you get a kill. They really want a big value Rift Herald. Since they got it so early here, with Svenskeren sneaking it at 9 minutes, they have plenty of time to try and set up a play with Ryze to snare somebody. You know, Ryze, Jhin, Seraphine. Now, how many times we can say it? That is so good at trying to get a pick for your team. And then you push hard on that lane, work off a couple of turret plates, pop the Rift Herald, and all of a sudden you kind of blow the game right back open in your favor. Currently, Golden Guardians very happy with the slower pace here, just continuing to rack up their gold, pushing in on the turret here, and opening up some space for AblazeOlive. Twisted Fate is ready to try and counter any sort of EG aggression.
Yep, as we check in with the mid-section of the map, actually, it's Hextech Alternator for both Lillia and Twisted Fate, which means we will not be seeing Moonstone Renewer for Lillia this game, and we'll of course see it for Ignar on the Seraphine here. So probably Night Harvester. I don't think Rocket Belt Lillia is a thing, although that would be sweet if it was. But Iconic, once again, going for more of a carry-oriented build was kind of the point I was trying to make here. Certainly a player that has shown that he wants to be generally dishing out damage and being aggressive rather than being more of a supportive player. Even on the Udyr, you know, he was getting in despite being a tankier build, as Niles gets knocked into the tower by Impact. Very nicely placed cask, but nothing else to worry about there. As Iconic is here, there's maybe something here onto Impact, but going to take a lot to get through the Gragas' health bar at this point.
All right, we saw a nice little toggle there from the observers on the vision. Currently, Svenskeren moving up.
So much damage again, trapped between the tower, last Q, not enough for Jiizuke, as AblazeOlive will get just barely out of that one.
If you do one of these mid passes, one of the biggest things for junglers is then to keep it up, because now mid lane pressure can be transferred to bottom side. You gank for your mid laner, even by chunking out AblazeOlive without killing him, you then are able to move towards the bottom side of the map to make your play there, gaining basically another ally and unlocking your mid laner by aggressively pressuring this Twisted Fate. And you see they keep up the pressure. AblazeOlive back behind both turrets now as Svenskeren and Jiizuke just work off a plate by hand.
We haven't seen AblazeOlive able to use that ulti again, is the other thing as well. After that first one, you know, being contained, being pressured by Jiizuke and Sven is nice. Says, yep, teleport's coming in everywhere. That's Ryze. Ooh, Svenskeren pops out as well. Now Niles going to have to play Ring Around the Rosie in the alcove. Does have his flash, going to go in onto Jiizuke and knock him back, but there's no getting out of that one. As AblazeOlive wants in, looks for the kill on Jiizuke, but the wildcards are going to miss. He flashes in, and that's a tragedy for the Twisted Fate as Impact grabs the double kill.
Oh my goodness, he wanted in really badly there. And he does trade flashes with Jiizuke, but the problem is you rush in right past a Gragas and a Graves. So at best, you probably counter kill that 1-for-1. At worst, you get this, which is you just flashed in, traded flashes with Jiizuke, you go down, and guess what? Our scenario of getting your picks into an instant Rift Herald full tower play has come true. Evil geniuses bide their time. They got the Rift Herald so early, they had multiple looks to go for, and they complete the ideal play. First turret bonus for them, hard shove on top side to ram it right back through. It will be a counter dragon for Golden Guardians, but the problem with that is that because you give up so much gold with this power Rift Herald play on top side, with an entire turret worth of turret plates, plus the extra kills, now you don't have the items because you're so far behind in gold to actually fight the next dragon.
Oh, Impact. That was so filthy. If there were no minions there, that would have been even sweeter. In fact, might still be good enough. Jiizuke zooming in. Ready with the phase rush. No flash from last time. Impact flashes in to secure it, and Jiizuke gets gifted a kill on a silver platter.
Keep them rolling here. Now we got some rotations you see through the jungle to try and get some defenses in place, but it's just a Lillia here, and it takes a little while for the burn to help clear out these minions. Jiizuke going to get a bit of damage and proc his phase rush, no problem. More damage on mid. They want to just keep it rolling here. Impact got some extra time because of pushing so hard on top side to go make this play, and EG just keep on firing.
Yeah, Niles in the top lane. Gonna try and keep this hero, though it looks like it's pushing back, so gonna have to again continue to be careful as EG snuck 3 people into the top lane, which is kind of the thing that cascaded to this point of the game. Oh, he's there again. Niles.
Hello!
You know, 1v4, very fancy, but I don't think it's going to get you out of there. Going to knock Impact back, but Ignar's the one to claim the kill here as the rest of Golden Guardians are going to maybe try for a counter kill. Deftly isn't here, but there's no angle for the fight there for Golden Guardians as Niles just goes down.
Yeah, you got to think there's just...
Still going, by the way. Another route from this Ryze is causing a lot of issues. Encore snipes! Iconic over the side, and Ignar gets a well-deserved kill number 2.
Yep, nice roam over here from Ignar. Doesn't hit the first Qs, but does hit the ultimate there, right over the Wolves. And EG just, they make it look so easy here, pick after pick. I think Golden Guardians, though, they're going to get a little lazy with their communication and their tracking of opponents, because I feel like they should have been able to alert Niles a little earlier of the EG takeover on Blue Quadrant. That takeover means you flash over this wall by Gromp. That is not your jungle anymore. This is Evil Genius's jungle. They just Rift-Tailed, took down your top tower, moved in and left a bunch of wards here. So at best, you know that they have vision there, and at worst, they've got a bunch of their champions there. So it's another one of those scenarios where, guess what? It's option number 2.
Yeah, just seems like it's been the worst result every time, but that is credit to Evil Geniuses for setting up the plays. 3,000 gold ahead now, actually maybe more, 3,500 or so up as Ignar gonna take even more HP out of the tower with Demolish. Svenskeren gets Rift-Tailed number 2. And they've got a Dragon to take as well in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. This is more of the game I think we expected to see in Game 1, where people were talking about this being a pretty quick 2-0 sweep. And now certainly Golden Guardians are not out of this game just yet, but EG have just really refined things after a pretty back-and-forth Game 1. And right now, this early game is completely owned by them.
Yeah, and this is why I'm also such a big fan of trying to play for the Rift-Herald over the Dragon early on, trying to play heavy on power on top side of the map, because you can get so much gold early on versus the individual Dragon buffs are actually weaker than the 2 years ago before they made the changes. It's the big burst of power when you get Soul that everyone's always talking about. Oh, Dragon, Dragon, Dragon. You know, your big value, of course, is, you know, a lot later when you do get the souls. The individual ones don't provide you advantages in these team fights a lot of the time. And it is so much more effective for you to be able to use this Rift Herald giant cash-in on an entire turret, bunch of turret plates, unlocking your top laner to then roam and make plays elsewhere. And again, it's not just the gold, it's the extra territory you gain by taking down that turret and opening up for a lot of these consecutive plays that they've been able to pull off.
Svenskeren just going in, smoke screen, rocket belt there. Gold card is going to keep AblazeOlive safe, but Svenskeren continuing to apply pressure alongside Jiizuke. His Ryze just has never found a snare he didn't like. Although there's the TP back in. Jiizuke going to be the target, but he's going to turn it back around. Stixxay though right on top of the EG mid laner. But now the TP in from EG. That's Impact right into the middle of everybody, and that might not be recommended. Shut down there for Stixxay. Ignar letting it rip, does get the Encore onto newbie, but the root does not land, and Golden Guardians pick one up.
Yeah, that was deep. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm defaulting to trust on Impact. That is a deep teleport under the turret. It turns out, yeah, Golden Guardians are well equipped to handle that one. They lock him right back down. EG give one back.
All right, well, looks like EG going to have enough health and pressure to go for this next Dragon. In fact, Niles is sticking topside. Does have teleport if he wants to join, but the Rift-Tail's going to be channeled into the mid lane. Actually, Deftly going to go ahead and assist that one to finish off the tower. TP back in from Niles. They're playing aggressively here for this Drake, it looks like. Wanting to make sure they're the first team to take Drake number 2. Just leaving Shelly in the mid lane.
Set it and forget it. I actually like that because they're going to contest around this dragon, keep GG here. Shelly will take care of a lot of damage on that mid turret while they work with Golden.
Now it's a little too low though, gets rooted again. And Deftly just the one to clean it up. And now Impact is here on the front side. He gets himself stumped, but Jiizuke on that flank is going to mean EG should have this Drake unless a steal comes in, but it does not. It's Deftly that secures it for Evil Geniuses. They're up in kills and dragons and gold. It's just all going well for the Evil Geniuses.
All according to plan. EG now should be able to finish up this one and push so heavily into the jungle that, as we mentioned before, you know, blue quadrant was no longer Golden Guardians' side of the map. They're losing control of their red quadrant now as well. And then each time you have to keep in mind where your opponents were previously, because you need to assume every time they take over like this, they're going to leave behind a bunch of wards. And so then you know you have to be very, very cautious when trying to re-enter on bottom half of the map for Golden Guardians. We see right now Rakan heading into dangerous territory. Newbie is trying to do that dangerous work. You know, as the super mobile champion here, he is putting down multiple wards, trying to check. And, you know, even when you approach brush in a dangerous area like this where there could be brush campers, it's very, very advisable to kind of walk forward until you get just into skill shot range. Take a quick, you know, left or right perpendicular to try and dodge skill shots coming out of it, try and bait them out. Similar to like a shoulder peek in an FPS. See if you can bait out some extra shots or something, and try and get yourself in there that way, because Newbie doing it by himself, even as Rakan, still kind of scary work.
Yeah, did have AblazeOlive there, but he was also playing back, maybe suspecting that EG were hiding a couple people in the brush near Krugs, which they in fact were. Niles also playing a bit more respectfully in the top lane now, as Ignar is continuing to roam everywhere on this Seraphine. But you can see kind of what those early heralds have converted to here for EG. They're 4K up, they're up in Dragons, they've just got complete control of the map, as Golden Guardian's going to try and find a fight here around the Baron pit. Ignar, though, again, keeping people away with the CC, and Golden Guardians just don't really have a way to get in. No big engage tool to try and use unless Twisted Fate wants to dive all the way into a team fight, or Iconic really finds a big swell seed. So Golden Guardians, despite wanting to try and find a fight there, just don't find one they like in the river. So EG continue to stay ahead.
And my wards, my precious wards, only one still lives for the Golden Guardians here. River Ward, we will call you Joseph. How long will you live? Joseph, you need to keep vision on Baron. He's doing his job. It sees Deftly go.
Aggressive from Evil Geniuses, but as you said, they will suspect thanks to Joseph, and that Blue Trinket will confirm it. That Baron's fallen pretty quick, though. Ignar also, again, continuing to zone people out. In fact, Golden Guardians can't get in. They're going to lose the Baron. That Kaisa W looked very close, but Smite is there for Svenskeren, and here comes Jiizuke, going to get the boys in with the ulti out of Ryze, and it's carnage as Svenskeren's going to take out Niles. Honker over the top there for Ignar as Iconic goes golden, but there's just abilities being thrown every possible way as Deftly is going to find the sniper. No AblazeOlive, 2 for 1 already, going to make it 3 for a Stixxay gets rooted by Ignar's very nice skill shot accuracy, although Stixxay is going to try and turn it back around. Deftly flashes in there to secure the next one, as it's 3 dropped already for Golden Guardians.
Oh yeah, it was a little touch and go there for a second. Nice excitement spike here as Jiizuke sends the hype Ryze ultimate right into the entire team. But even after Svenskeren dropping, they're able to chase everyone down. I really like how Ignar does not give up on this play. Even though he only has impact with the Gragas damage there. All right, let's check in on Jiizuke though, quickly. Nothing happens. Even though he only had impact.
Oh, Iconic. Oh my. That was disgusting.
Spoke too soon here. Thank you for the little hide and seek though. I like that one. Jiizuke doesn't give up on the play either.
Yeah, I think Jiizuke, I mean, he's done such a great job this series and this game on a pick that, like you said, not many other people are playing. The early game, it was just like good lane control, good roaming, and good use of CC. He's got items now, and he's ahead. So now it's also about good damages. This is like the slowest Malphite ult in the world. Everybody's just in there.
Yeah, and then they've got Stixxay jumping in. He finishes off Svenskeren. He has to flash away, but still, the charm lands onto Ablaze. They lock him in. Deftly with the first on his Jhin shots, able to get that one. Flash forward for Ignar. Lands the snare after landing the exhaust so that he gets the root there. And then finally Deftly follows up with the flash for the extra kill.
All right, well, Golden Guardians, we expect they will not be slowing down. Trying to at least find some trades for themselves because they do need gold. They're woefully behind now, about 8k, with this Baron buff still having 50 seconds left for EG as they're going to knock down the tier 2 in mid. No way to defend that one. Svenskaren's going to go in. Gale forces forward. Impact's also in there. Great ulti straight into the Seraphine route, and Deftly just picking people off easy as you please with the Jhin.
All right, they Keep it going. Charm him in.
Stixxay, follow-up route, no good. EG moving back in. It's just going to be absolute massacre here in the mid lane as Niles finally gets himself a trade, but now he's got to hightail it out of there. And does get out. All right, well, pull pressure still here for EG. They're going to knock down this mid inhibitor and run back to the dragon, give themselves sore point, if they even need it at this point, Kobe.
They do not.
10K up. Yeah, they don't.
Let me tell you, they don't, but it's a nice to have, my friend. We had a few little audio issues right there, cleaned up really quickly. Right back here, though, for the action and the exciting end to our best of 3 series here, as EG looking like with almost a 10K gold lead, they'll be able to reset after this one. Dragon picked up for security and finished it afterwards. So take a look at that replay, though. Svenskeren was able to dive in because they're so far ahead on the Grave, starts it out, and they get the evasive movers already out of Ablaze. Nice ultimate here from Impact, right into Ignar as well, landing that. Then Svenskeren is able to chase down with the extra damage. Another ultimate from Ignar on this Seraphine. Been so accurate from him. They pick up the extra ones, even though Niles gets a counter kill and tries to run off with this gold that he's gotten. He's gotten himself behind enemy lines once again. See if he can pull off any crazy stuff.
All right, well, Ignar's a good target to kill if you can assassinate the Seraphine, because that ultimate has been so problematic for Golden Guardians, both offensively and defensively. It's just such a powerful tool, especially with the Moonstone Renewer helping out as a pretty cheap mythic for the supports. But 3 items here for Deftly, who's just been kind of like scooping up the kills that have been gifted to him over the course of this 25-minute game. And Jiizuke is also continuing to play the side lane. So Golden Guardians, with super streaming in mid and 2 points of pressure on other sides of the map, are going to have a tall task to try and defend the rest of their inhibitors and the inevitable nexus that EG are looking to take down.
Yep, let her rip, EG. And Golden Guardians, they know they've got no time working in their favor, so they have to make a side pick here. You have to make an aggressive move. When you're cornered like this, so far down, just send multiple people to try and pick off one. EG won't give them that opportunity. Teleport over 5 members strong straight through top.
Impact's at it again, though. As EG do take down the top inhibitor tower, they're going to look to take the inhib pretty quickly here as well. AblazeOlive with the rapid-fire gold card, trying to find a juicy target. But can't get it just yet as the inhib does fall. Impact in there again. Jiizuke insta-flashes in. Seraphine ult is going to follow through. A 2-man charm there out of Ignar as Deftly once again is playing janitor. And Stixxay is going to try and make something happen, but Svenskeren's going to shut that down as Rakan gets sniped off by Deftly. And Impact will seal the deal as Iconic, the only one left alive, as Deftly grabs himself the triple. And it's going to be yet another ace here as Iconic into the fountain. He goes. Deftly wants to take him down. He gets himself killed, though. Executed, in fact, as Iconic will not fall. But unfortunately for Golden Guardians, the Nexus will not share the same fate as the Lillia, as EG will take the expected 2-0 sweep over Golden Guardians.
They even put the ward down to remember the spot Deftly died at the fountain again. That's the second time, by the way, in lock-in tournament that he has died to fountain laser. Jumping in for another one of those kills. He is certainly not a KDA player, as the analyst desk was talking about that topic earlier on. He's always looking for those bloodthirsty last kills at the fountain. EG, though, they clean this one up and wrap it up really quickly in game number 2, so much more decisively than game number 1 in this series. So they will be progressing in the lock-in tournament, looking a lot more solid.
Well, Kobe, I have one spot of good news for you. I believe Joseph lived throughout the rest of that game, so that ward, I think, was still giving the intel for Golden Guardians, who did have some nice moments in this series. Even in that game, felt like they needed to use their Twisted Fate a bit more aggressively, although the first look they gave was really nice. And in general, This is a team that will be excited to watch once the LCS spring season starts for realsies. I feel like if they just tune up some of their 5v5 in their mid game, and again, this is a team that is very much still growing and developing together with a lot of exciting young new talent. Our Golden Guardians certainly can once again have another successful build-up from players that we didn't know too much about until this year. So credit to how they've been going, but EG really not looking like things have changed. Yes, they've dropped a game here and there. They didn't go undefeated, unfortunately, for them in their group stage, but they'll move on to the semifinals as one of the favorites to take the whole thing.
Yeah, and I really am enjoying following Deftly specifically here for this lineup. He's been looking very good. Yes, he died to fountains a couple times, and it's funny to watch, but he has been far above people's expectations for specifically the team fighting phase of a lot of these games. I know a lot of people were still giving him credit for lane phase, but he has done very good following up, very accurate with a lot of these Jhin shots in this game. So excited to follow that one and keep it moving forward.
Yeah, for me, my biggest worry with Deftly, actually, after watching him play on Evil Genius's Academy for a whole year, was that he was very good when he got ahead. And he was like often the core carry of the team. But he, like his jungler, mid laner, and top laner, like kind of all invested their time and effort into making sure Deftly got ahead. And when that didn't happen, he wasn't able to carry games nearly as well. I feel like now, maybe his teammates are, a bit better there, but they don't need to play around him nearly as much, and he's still performing to a similar level. So huge credit for Deftly to be able to let Ignar still roam, but stay safe and continue to dish out the DPS and team fights, which is something that Deftly has always been good at. So a nice solid win there for EG, as after the State Farm analyst desk, what did I just do? I've lost it. We're back. After the break, the State Farm analyst desk break down that EG sweep, and we'll hear from Ignar.